Hello and welcome to Dawn Chorus Writes, a miraculous fanfic and audiofic. This is a new two-parter written by Jheqia, narrated by Dawn myself. Hello! And it is for Fall into Christmas. So I hope you enjoy it. It is called As Lucky as Me. So make sure you go and send some love to Jheqia as well, because she did the amazing artwork in the thumbnail. So she needs double the amount of love, and it's Christmas, so just triple it as well. So all her information is listed down below. Make sure you go and send me some love by smashing that like button. It really does help with the channel. Send me some Christmas love, and make sure you comment down below what you think of it and what will happen in part 2, and make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on this and other treats that are happening at the moment and to come in the new year. And enjoy. Part 1. Marinette was exhausted. She had been working hard in the bakery during the days of the Christmas break and worked late into the nights to finish the last of her Christmas presents. Most of her friends were easy enough to make gifts for. Alia and Nino were getting Carapace and Rena Rue's pajamas. She had made Julika and Luca custom straps for their guitars, unicorn stickers for Rose, some special covers for Nathaniel's sketchbook, crochet wristbands for Kim, a soft grey sweater for Mylene, and some fingerless gloves for Ivan for when he played his drums. Those had been the easiest and finished in early October. Max and Markov were a little more difficult, but she knew they would like notebooks with character designs for the new game they were making. The rest of her friends would get a box of their favourite goodies delivered personally on Christmas Eve. But the two people that took her the longest were the two most important people in her life. Her partner, Cat Noir, and Adrien, the boy she secretly loved. Everything else was finished by the end of November. But her two boys left her ready to pull her hair out. It wasn't until school let out for the holidays that inspiration finally struck. After that, it was as if she was a woman possessed, frantically sewing in every moment she had. Adrien had overshirts and long stylish coats, but nothing in between, so she was crafting a warm jacket for him. Black to hold in the heat, leather sleeves like the jackets American athletes used to wear in old television shows, a fancy embroidered double A on the left-hand side and back done in gold thread, deep pockets that she was going to fill with new Christmas goodies, and a warm fleece lining that was soft as velvet. For Cat Noir, she was making a hoodie. The fabric was heavy, dark red with black spots. She gave it an oversized hood so he could wear it while transformed if he wanted to, a large front pocket to carry cheese for his Kwame and keep his hands warm, and emblazoned across the front in a flowing cursive were the words, "As lucky as me." After 5 broken needles, countless nicks and cuts from pins and rotary cutters, and the clawed, cramping hand that only embroidered can give you, she had barely finished them in time for the friends' Christmas party. She threw on her holiday dress and let her hair down for the night, only having time to stuff the presents into 2 gift bags she happened to have lying around. "Tiki, where's my purse?" she cried, scattering a pile of clean laundry in her search.
"It's right here, Marinette."
Her friends came over, carrying the purse with her.
"I made sure to have a few cookies, just in case."
"Thanks, Tiki. You're the best."
"Are you sure you're up to going? You have been working so hard and not getting much sleep."
She sighed, rushing to apply some eyeliner and mascara. "I know, but this is the only chance I'm going to have to see Adrien until after the break. I want him to know I'm thinking about him."
"And Cat Noir?"
Marinette blushed. "I'm a mess, aren't I?" Tiki shrugged, causing her to bop up and down in the air.
"I've had weirder bugs, but none so ingenious at getting themselves tangled up as you are."
She giggled to take the sting out of her words, and Marinette rolled her eyes fondly. "Then here's to getting untangled. Come on, Tiki." Grabbing her coat and the gift bag, she dashed out the door. The party at Nino's house was noisy and crowded, the combination of loud music and talking making her head throb. Her classmates from the last several years were all there, except Alex, of course. The music was pumping out a heavy bass, and Nino had even set up some coloured spotlights to swing around in time for the music. Folks were dancing, chatting, or sampling the snack table, and a few couples could be seen kissing in corners, much to Marinette's embarrassment. Be honest with yourself, Marinette. It's not just embarrassment, it's envy, she thought with a sigh as her cheeks burnt and averted her eyes. 17 years old, and my only kisses have been with Cat Noir, and the only time I can remember wasn't romantic in the slightest. Not that making out in full view of a crowd of people is my idea of romantic either. Frustrated with herself, she scanned the crowd looking for her friends. All she managed to find was Ivan and Mylene slow dancing despite the heavy rhythm and the fast tempo of the music, and Kim regaling a handful of adoring girls about his athletic prowess. Marinette chuckled and rolled her eyes at his animated gestures. I wonder if they know he used to think he could outrun a panther. A warm, familiar voice murmured in her ear, making her jump. Turning round, she saw Adrien standing next to her, holding a cup of juice. He had a weary smirk on his face that made her throat go dry. Her golden boy suddenly looked as mischievous as an imp, or Cat Noir himself. She wanted to quit back at him the way she did to her partner, but her mouth was suddenly a desert, and she doubted anything sensible or appealing would come out of it anyway. He gestured towards her with a cup. Here, Marinette. It's kind of hot in here. I thought you would like something to drink. She managed to smile and took the cup, grateful for the cool, tangy liquid that soothed her throat and gave her a moment to collect herself. Thank you very much. You're so thankful, she said, realizing she had jumbled her words yet again and groaned. Adrien merely smiled at her fondly. I'm really glad you can make it, Marinette. It's been a while since we've hung out, but Nino didn't know if you were going to make it or not. Speaking of our host, have you seen Nino or Alia? That hadn't been too bad. Just some stammering, not a complete word jumble this time. I'm pretty sure they snuck away to play Super Pellegrino, or whatever excuse they're using these days to slip off and kiss somewhere. She giggled as he chuckled, remembering how many times her friends had been found in empty stairwells, closets, or in one famous incident the back seat of the bus on a trip to the Science Museum. It really is good to see you, Marinette, he said, his cheeks a slight shade darker than usual. But then again, he was the one who mentioned how warm the room was. I'm glad you could come. Yeah, I nearly didn't make it, I mean. I had to finish the last of my Christmas gifts. Knowing you, whoever is going to get them will be thrilled. Is that one of them? He asked, pointing at the green gift bag that hung off her wrist. He had caught her taking another sip of juice, only for her to inhale some and start coughing violently. His soft smile fell instantly into one of concern, patting her on the back and popping off to the snack table for the napkin to clean up the spilled drink. Sorry, Marinette. I didn't mean to startle you. She shook her head, trying to draw enough air back into her protesting lungs. It wasn't your fault, okay? I promise. He breathed a sigh in relief. Still, I hope none of the juice got in the gift bag. Her eyes widened in horror at the thought. Fumbling a hand into the bag while trying to keep its contents from view, she tried to tell if the fabric was damp or sticky. I think it's okay. Do you need me to help to check it out? I'd hate for your friends to receive a stained gift because of me. I've had my fair share of spills over the years. You can pick up a useful skill or two when your dad chews you out over coffee stains at 5 a.m. She grinned and shook her head. No, it's okay, but thank you all the same. It's fine. I can't feel any wetness in the bag or on the gift." Just then, the peppy music ended, and a familiar song started playing as couples shifted to slow dance. Marinette's eyes caught Adrien's before he looked away, and she realized they were both blushing. His hand crept to the back of his neck, rubbing nervously, but he didn't look away for long. "This is kind of our song, isn't it?" he mumbled, ducking his head in embarrassment. "Would you like to dance?" Her cheeks burnt. "Me? I dance would love you too. I mean, I love you if dance me. Ugh." She hid her face in her hands and groaned in embarrassment. If she hadn't been so tired, maybe she might have avoided making this big disaster out of this. "Any chance we can start over?" Adrien laughed, the same golden-hearted laugh that had attracted her so long ago. He held out his hand to her, the feeling of layered déjà vu hitting her right in the chest. "Only if you want to, Marinette, but I have been hoping to have at least one dance with you, and..." He gestured towards the speakers around the room, indicating their song. "Dance with me?" Her throat closed, and she thought she might manage to smile and nod at him. What she did know was that Adrien took her hand, taking the gift bag and placing it on a nearby table before pulling her out into the middle of the dancing couples. His smile was warm and his cheeks were pinker than usual as he pulled her into his arms. "So much for getting untangled," she thought, as her hands drifted around his neck, her heart pounding like thunder. It felt like she was dreaming. Maybe she was. That would explain the rosy, floating sensation as well as how she managed not to step on his feet. Yes, she had undoubtedly fallen asleep at the sewing machine again and was dreaming about Adrien. Nothing new there. She might as well enjoy it while it lasted. "You look beautiful, Marinette," Adrien murmured into her hair. "That colour really looks good on you." She glanced down at the sapphire blue velvet dress with soft silk ruffles along the bottom and smiled. "Thanks. You look good too." He did look handsome tonight, in a black shirt, black dress pants, and a red silk tie with a silver tie clip. He had been letting his hair grow longer these days, and it was pulled back into a short tail at the back. She guessed it would be just long enough to spill around his shoulders if he didn't have it pulled back. She was kind of in awe of that ponytail, to tell the truth. Back when she had first fallen for him, Adrien would never have dared to do something so radical as change his hairstyle without his father's permission. This meant he was pushing back a bit more now and winning. She couldn't be more prouder of him. Well, if this was just a dream, she could tell him, right? "I'm proud of you, Adrien," she said softly, looking up into his startled green eyes. He blushed and blinked, confused. "Why, Marinette? I haven't done anything." "You don't see it because you live it," she replied with a fond smile, "but I do. You were pushing back against your father and starting to shape your own life while still trying to respect his wishes. I know it isn't easy, but you are succeeding, and I'm so proud of how far you've already come." His eyes widened and his face reddened so much she even felt the flush heat up his neck under her hands. "Marinette, I don't know what to say. Thank you doesn't seem nearly enough somehow." She sighed and leaned her head on his chest as they swayed to the music. "That's okay. I never seem to know what to say to you either." He chuckled and held her a bit closer, like a hug within the dance. "And yet you always find a way to make me smile or laugh when no one else can. You always find a way to encourage or support me when I need it most. You have been there for me so many times over the years, Marinette. I don't think you realize how important you are to me." She was pretty sure her blush covered everything from head to crown, and her hands were shaking slightly. That's what friends are for, right? Adrien's hand spasmed at the back of her neck for an instant, and when he replied, his voice was low and intense. You're more than that to me, Marinette. I think you always have been. Okay. Now she was sure she was dreaming, she giggled. This is the part where you tell me what an amazing friend I am. He stopped dancing and looked down at her in confusion. What? What do you mean? She grinned up at him, and he swallowed hard. I mean, of course you're an amazing friend. Anyone would tell you that. Marinette shook her head. No, silly. I must really be asleep at my sewing machine while still finishing your gift. Either that or there's a good chance dream Akuma's for a change. But anyway, there are only two ways these dreams would go. Either you go on to tell me what a special, amazing friend I am, despite being a weird babbling mess around you all the time, or you're going to tell me that you're in love with me. He just stared at her, mouth slightly open and red-faced. You dream about me? She giggled again, leaning against him to still the woozy feeling in her skull. Yep. And in your dreams, I either tell you how a great friend you are, or I tell you that I'm in love with you? She nodded sleepily. That's right. Hot stuff. That's how I know this is a dream. She couldn't suppress the yawn that tore out of her. Oh, the real world Adrien only sees me as a friend. He frowned, concerned. Marinette, when was the last time you slept? Heroes don't need sleep. I'm your everyday ladybug, remember? She tried to wave it off, but staggered in his arms, and he pulled her close to his chest to keep her from falling over. Kim? He called anxiously. Did someone spike the drinks? There was a minute or two of plastic rattling behind them. Can't find any. What? Is DC tipsy on orange juice? Marinette could only find the energy to growl at him as their friends laughed at her predicament. No, just exhausted, Adrien said, leading her off the dance floor as the music changed to something less symphonic. You know Marinette, always taking care of everyone but herself. Yeah, Kim replied. You need any help, Adrien? No, I think I'll just take her home. No, she grunted. I can get myself home. You don't get out as much. You should stay for the party. But with her words interrupted several times by large yawns, she doubted she was very convincing. Sure, and what kind of friend would I be if I left my sleeping beauty to go home unescorted? His tone was roary and full of humour at the situation, but his eyes were soft and kind. Come on, some fresh air will help you wake up a bit. He was right. Between the bustling of bundling up against the winter night and the chill air that greeted them outside, she was definitely more awake. Not that Adrien walking home while holding her hand wasn't still dreamlike, but she was awake enough to realize she had made a fool of herself again. Adrien? Sorry. About what I said earlier? I didn't mean to imply anything. I just have no filter when I'm tired, and I really thought I was asleep, because why else would you take me to dance? It's not like... He stopped in the middle of the sidewalk, not far from the bakery, and grabbed her other hand so that she would face him. It's fine, Marinette. Don't worry about it. You didn't say anything bad. You just thought you were dreaming. To be honest," his cheeks turned pink from more than the cold, "it made me very happy to know you dream of me."
Why?
She asked bluntly, too tired and confused for tact. He reached out a tentative hand and caressed her cheek. "Maybe because I dream of you too." Now she was awake.
You do?
He shrugged and gave her a crooked grin. "Yeah." His suede gloves felt warm and furry against her skin. "Except, in my dreams, you love me too." She stared at him, wide-eyed and unblinking.
Really?
Why could she not say anything beyond a squeak? If he went any further, no one except dogs would be able to hear her. Adrien nodded, a nervous smile tugging at his lips now. "I dream that we dance together, that we hold hands." He gave her gloved hand a gentle squeeze. "That I can find the words to tell you how much I admire your strength, your compassion, your talent. That I have always cared about your opinion and wanted your attention. That I have loved you since we were 14 years old, and I was a blind idiot who ignored my feelings because I don't think I'm good enough for someone as amazing as you." Forget squeaking. She was completely robbed of words. Her heart fluttered at the same time as her stomach sank. Thankfully, Adrien didn't seem to notice. "I think I always hoped that when you got so nervous around me, it meant that you liked me as more than a friend. I never gave up hope entirely, but I have always been afraid to just step out into the unknown. First it was because you said you didn't feel that way about me, but then it became something deeper, more precious. You really see me, Marinette. You saw me back then too. I didn't need to hide myself from you, and that made it even scarier. I was afraid I would lose you, lose your friendship, and I have already lost so much. But we will be leaving for university soon, and I can't risk losing you because I'm a coward." He clasped her hands together between his own, his verdant eyes full of hope. "Will you give me a chance, Marinette? Let me love you out in the open instead of locked away?" Tears welled up in her eyes as she threw her arms around his neck, the gift bag slapping against his back.
Adrien, I have loved you since the day you gave me your umbrella, she whispered fiercely, her hands buried in his shoulder. I fell in love with your kindness and your willingness to forgive me, even when I had done nothing to deserve it. It was never about your job or your father or your looks. I love your heart.
"Really?" His face alight with joy, he scooped her up and spun them around in circles on the pavement, laughing as loudly as if he had been given the best gift in the world. She gave a nervous laugh.
Yeah, but can you put me down now, please?
He stopped, as if someone had pulled his plug, his eyes and mouth round, of O's of realization. "Yeah, of course. Sorry." He set her down but wouldn't let her go. Her heart was pounding madly against her ribs, a small frantic star about to explode. The light of the street lamp above them made his hair look like a spill of liquid gold shining brightly in the dark.
There is something you need to know, though, she said, fighting past the lump in her throat.
"You can tell me anything, Marinette," he said with so much warmth and love that she felt a stab of pain.
It's not easy for me, she murmured, looking down. Talking about how I feel, but...
"It's okay. I'll wait for as long as you need to get it right." His kindness made it all the more difficult.
Might as well take advantage of the exhaustion for once and just get it all out, she thought frantically. She took a deep breath. Adrien, I really have loved you since you gave me your umbrella. But there is someone else who is just as special to me as you are, and I don't know what to do because you are wonderful and so is he, and you both mean the world to me, and I don't want to be unfair to either of you, and I don't want to be unfair to either one of you, and I can't just string you along as that would be wrong, even though you are my heart's first. And he came in later, but I don't even know what he thinks of me now, and a suede-covered finger to her lips silenced her. I think I understand, Marinette, he whispered with a smile. Not one of his perfect model smiles, but one that was genuine, understanding, and a trifle sad. I have kind of been dealing with the same thing. I guess I just finally figured out what I really wanted. If you haven't yet, then I understand and will give you all the time you need. I promise not to push you or anything. I don't deserve you, she whimpered, the sadness in his eyes making her feel hollow inside. His strong arms wrapped around her, but she felt him trembling. That's not true. You deserve everything. Thank you, Marinette, he said on a shaky breath. Again, it seems too small, but the truth is important to me, and I wouldn't want anything to damage what we already have. Even if you don't choose me. She let him go then, the gift bag sliding off his shoulder. Oh, you never got to give this to your friend, he said, embarrassed, rubbing the back of his neck. Sorry, I messed it up. No, you didn't. I gift you this for maid. Gift you made this. Ugh. She thrust the bag at him with a disgusted shake of her head. For you. I'm going to go home now before I dig myself into a deeper hole. Marinette scurried off, cheeks burning. She was almost to the bakery door when Adrien called out to her. Hey, Marinette! Yeah? If this was just a dream, was it at least a good one? They stared at each other across the open space, and her heart was in her throat. She gave him the biggest smile she could. The best. Adrien watched as Marinette closed the door behind her. He had been altering between riding high on excitement and his heart sinking like a stone for the better part of 2 hours, leaving him confused, disappointed, and, to be honest, slightly sick. You okay, kid? Plag asked from inside his coat collar. Not really, he murmured, gripping the handles of the gift bag tightly. Marinette loves me, but she doesn't know who she wants. Me or this other guy. He sighed and adjusted the scarf around his neck. It kind of hurt, Plag. His Kwame made a scoffing noise right in his ear. It's not as if you haven't been paddling the same boat for years. You did your best, and as my kitten, you were amazing by normal human standards. Now, just give her time to sort being swept off her feet. And maybe get a few days' worth of sleep, and she'll come running, just like those cheesy romantic dramas you like so much. Adrien smiled a little. You know how much I hate it when you're right. Trust me, Casanova. I'm always surprised by it too. Now, why don't you open that gift she's been lugging around all evening? Maybe she gave you some cheese. He rolled his eyes and huffed in disgust before rummaging in the bag. Marinette wouldn't give me cheese. His voice petered out as he pulled a large red hoodie out of the gift bag. Dropping the wrapping to the ground, he held it up under the streetlight. The fabric had a heavy weight. It was dark red with different-sized black spots and an oversized hood, a large front pocket, and the words, "As lucky as me," flowed across the front in a pretty script. Right in the middle, a sticky note was stuck to the hood with a sewing pin. It read, "To Cat Noir, with love." If it was possible for the human brain to backfire, Adrien was pretty sure that is what happened. The entire world stuttered to a halt as the import of those 5 words hit his mind like a series of roundhouse punches. Marinette had been working so hard on his gift, she hadn't been sleeping. Marinette had said she'd been in love with him for years. Marinette, who had been multi-mouse, gave him a gift addressed to Cat Noir? Somehow, she had figured out his secret identity and what? Planned this gift to let him know she would keep it secret? Had been going to tell him, but he'd been too busy trying to finally confess that he hadn't given her the chance. "Plague?" he said distantly, as if the world was far away from the crazy circles his mind was running in at the moment. "Yeah, kid? We have a problem." "What else is new?" Ripping the note off the pin, he held it up for his Kwame to read from his hiding place. "Marinette knows I'm Cat Noir." His little friend was silent for a minute or two, then curled up tighter into his collar. "Alright, let's head back and get some popcorn." "Popcorn? Popcorn? Someone has figured out my identity after all this time and you want popcorn?" Plague chuckled. "Of course! I always like a good fireworks show." Adrien groaned and buried his face in his hoodie. How was he going to explain this to Ladybug? More to the point, how was he going to explain things to Marinette the next time he saw her?
Uh-oh, poor Marinette. I think she's made a mistake. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that. A little Christmas gift, part 1. As lucky as me. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. Send Jheqia some love. All her information is listed down below. Make sure you comment what you think and what will happen in part 2, which is the final part. It's only a little mini series. And make sure you subscribe so you do not miss out on part 2 and other series are happening at the moment and other one-shots. And I hope you're good and getting into the Christmas spirit and getting some sleep. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.